Okay,
and no. You should care about your own borders.
Do you care about American lives being put at risk?
Let me tell you something. Do you care about people from your country? What about all the women that are raped by migrants?
Do you care
No,
about
by migrants. No, do you care? Okay, you're done.
Do you care about American lives being put at risk?
You know what? I don't care.
Service members fighting for your country.
I don't care about your fake news. Do you have a relevant question? Yeah, this is an American journalist. Thank you.
I was just thinking the other day that I haven't heard much from Marjorie Taylor Greene lately. And maybe I should have knocked on wood because now she's back with a vengeance, doing exactly what we expect from her. She's once again acting in the most appalling way, humiliating our country in Congress. This time, she did so when confronted by a reporter about Donald Trump's massive national security scandal. A question that should be asked of every Republican defending Trump like Pete Hegseth and Mike Waltz. And what did Marjorie Taylor Greene do? She started attacking and threatening the reporter, putting on a truly disgraceful display. We're going to break it all down, but before we do, I'd really appreciate it if you could quickly hit the like button on this video, and if you enjoy the channel, don't forget to subscribe. It really helps and means a lot to me. Now, before we get into Marjorie Taylor Greene's actions, let's first provide some context on the question she was asked, unfortunately, by another bleach blonde we're not fond of on this show, Caroline Leavitt.
So, why aren't launch times on a mission strike classified?
Again, I would defer you to the Secretary of Defense's statement he put out this morning. There were various reasons he listed, things that were not included in that messaging thread that were not classified. And again, going back to the American public, do you trust the Secretary of Defense, who was nominated for this role, voted by the United States Senate into this role, who has served in combat, honorably served our nation in uniform? Or do you trust Jeffrey Goldberg, who is a registered Democrat and an anti-Trump sensationalist reporter? This president and this national security team are putting our national security and the American people first. We are restoring American strength around the world, and the results of this operation speak for themselves.
Putting aside Jeffrey Goldberg, though, just for for American service members who are going to have to carry out these missions in the future, what I guess the message that's coming from the response to all this that we're hearing is that nothing sensitive happened. And I guess the logical conclusion of that is that if these messages had gone out publicly prior to the launch, that wouldn't have been a risk to service members. I don't know that they're comfortable with that. So can you explain, had these messages been published, would the plans have moved forward? Would the launch have still taken off?
What I can tell you is that the President, as the Commander-in-Chief of our United States Armed Forces, and Secretary Pete Hegseth, who is an incredible man and a warfighter himself, take the lives of our American service members with the utmost responsibility.
The reporter is asking some tough questions to Caroline Leavitt, pushing back effectively in my opinion. Leavitt works for Fox, a network that Donald Trump has recently criticized for doing a good job at times of challenging and confronting her. However, Leavitt refuses to answer the central issue at hand. How is it that our national security hasn't already been compromised to such an extent that figures like Mike Waltz, Pete Hegseth, and Tulsi Gabbard should be fired or forced to resign? These individuals have undermined trust in both our military and national security, and they need to go. What does Caroline Leavitt have to say in response? She claims it's all a hoax created by the liberal media, but I don't think it was the liberal media behind the creation of a ridiculous signal group. As much as they try to pin the blame there, it's clear that Marjorie Taylor Greene is also doing her part to distract and fabricate lies, which is why she couldn't even handle a simple question from the media without losing her composure. Take a look.
Yep. Anybody else?
Should the Defense Secretary...
What country are you? Wait, what country are you from?
From the UK.
Okay, we don't give a crap about your opinion and your reporting. Why don't you go back to your country where you have a major migrant problem?
Okay,
and no. You should care about your own borders.
Do you care about American lives being put at risk?
Let me tell you something. Do you care about people from your country? What about all the women that are raped by migrants?
Do you care
No,
about
by migrants. No, do you care? Okay, you're done.
Do you care about American lives being put at risk?
You know what? I don't care.
Service members fighting for your country.
I don't care about your fake news. Do you have a relevant question? Yeah, this is an American journalist. Thank you.
I'm an American, and I'd like to hear your answer to what she's asking.
I'm not answering her question
right,
because
I'll ask
I don't care about her network. If you would like to ask, I can
Do
answer.
you have any concerns whatsoever about the complete disregard of operational security from the top level of this administration?
You want to know about complete disregard about operational security? You should talk about the Biden administration and how they ripped our borders open to terrorist, cartel, child sex trafficking, human trafficking, and drug trafficking across our borders for 4 years. The Trump administration is doing a great job, and I stand by their statements.
So you have
I
no-
stand by
no
their
comment
statements.
whatsoever about
My comment to you is I'm
incompetence?
thankful to President Trump that he is leading us out of wars, that he's ending the war in Ukraine, where American lives could have been killed if Joe Biden was still president today, whether he liked it or not. We're talking about NPR and PBS today. We're talking about fake news that was funded with federal funding from American taxpayers. That's what this is about today, not journalists from the UK that should care about
A
their...
journalist is being vilified for exposing failings in the way that your government conducts itself. If that journalist is
This is just appalling. It's downright disgusting. It completely undermines the integrity of Congress that she's even there. What country are you from? Maybe it's time for you to leave ours. The past few days have been shocking and disturbing, especially considering the reaction from Republicans. These so-called China hawks, national security hawks, and the ones who used to obsess over Hillary's emails are suddenly ignoring our national security and the welfare of our troops. Now, they're concerned about whether we have competent leadership at the Department of Defense and whether Pete Hegseth is even remotely capable of doing his job. The concern used to be that in an emergency, Pete Hegseth might be compromised. But now we know it's a constant issue. He can't do his job properly. It's not just about missing an important call in the middle of the night. He can't even send a text correctly. This is where we are. We need resignations, investigations, and accountability. As Congressman Jason Crow rightly pointed out, it's time to call out Trump and hold these people accountable.
General Hawk, the NSA recently warned its employees not to use the Signal app. Is that correct?
What we did, Congressman, is we put out cybersecurity advisories on a whole host of systems.
On the Signal app that was included in that advisory, right?
What we've done is we've put out an advisory on how to use the Signal app and other encrypted applications, because we do encourage our employees and their families to use encrypted.
Because there's risk to that app.
There are.
Okay. General Cruz, DOD also issued a warning about vulnerabilities to the Signal app recently, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Director Gabbard, you were on the Signal text chain in question, correct?
Yes.
As was Mr. Witkoff, the administration's lead negotiator with the Russians, correct?
Yes.
And at the time, Mr. Witkoff was actually in Russia during this chat discussion, was he not?
I was not aware of that.
Was he on his personal phone at the time?
I don't know.
Well, it's my understanding that he was indeed in Russia. Director Gabbard, you were also traveling during this discussion, correct?
Yes.
And where were you?
I was traveling through the Asia-Pacific region. I don't recall which country I was in at that time.
You don't remember the country?
I'd have to go back and look at the schedule.
Director Gabbard, I want to direct your attention again to the text chain where it says, just confirmed with CENTCOM, we are a go for mission launch. Does that indicate to you that there is about to be a military operation?
Yes.
Director Gabbard, earlier in this hearing, we heard about the DOD's classification standards. I want to now turn my attention to your classification standards. You're the Director of National Intelligence. The Office of the Director of National Intelligence classification guide says, quote, information providing indication or advance warning that the U.S. or its allies are preparing for an attack, end quote, is to be classified as top secret. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
Director Gabbard, have the Houthis indicated an ability to shoot down American aircraft?
Yes.
They have in fact done so, haven't they?
Yes,
including MQ-9 Reapers, haven't they?
that's correct.
And that was one of the systems used in the attack recently that's the subject of this discussion, is it not?
Correct.
General Cruz, are you familiar with this system?
I'm not wearing my glasses at the moment, but...
Well, I'll help you out. This is an SA-3 anti-aircraft system.
Correct.
Are you familiar with this next system?
I am.
What is it?
I'm going to have to ask you.
It's an SA-6.
I'm going to guess that...
This is also an advanced anti-aircraft system, is it not?
It is. It was used widely in the Balkans in the 90s, correct?
And the Houthis also have this system, don't they?
They certainly do.
And they've employed it against our aircraft, have they not?
They have attempted to, correct.
I spent my life in service to this country. I deployed 3 times to combat in service to this nation. I learned in that time in service that responsibility is core to leadership. You accept responsibility when things go wrong. You admit mistakes. You set the standard from the very top. It is completely outrageous to me that administration officials come before us today with impunity, no acceptance of responsibility, excuse after excuse after excuse, while we send our men and women downrange to do incredibly difficult, incredibly dangerous things on our behalf. And yet, nobody is willing to come to us and say this was wrong. This was a breach of security and we won't do it again. It is outrageous and it is a leadership failure, and that's why Secretary Hegseth, who undoubtedly transmitted classified, sensitive operational information via this chain, must resign immediately. There can be no fixes, there can be no corrections until there is accountability, and I'm calling on the administration to move forward with accountability. I yield back.
It's still hard to believe we've reached this point, and the response from the Republican side has been what it is. Maybe it shouldn't be surprising, but as we always say, we're never surprised, just disgusted. I can't help but feel deeply saddened for the men and women courageously serving our country, not knowing if they can trust anything anymore. How would you feel putting your life on the line? Unsure if the very strategic plan meant to keep you safe might have been accidentally sent to our enemies. It's terrifying and heartbreaking, and it's something we must call out. We will continue to do so on this show. And if you want to support independent media, as always, hit the subscribe button, leave a like, and if you stayed until the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until, like next time, I'll see you soon.